Last time on What If Izuku Had a Darkness Quirk, Izuku passed the entrance exam and is now resting in his bed. Let's continue on with the story. Izuku wakes up in his bed. It's a beautiful day, and even more beautiful for the fact that he can actually go to school today. He gets his breakfast and he starts going. He uses the push aspect of his quirk on the soles of his feet so he can practically run to school, and the first day has begun. On the first day, Izuku has to walk through the giant UA halls. Every single step, he even felt more inspired to be a greater hero. By the time he got to the giant door for a UA, he could only imagine what type of students were in there. When he opened the door, he saw Baku and Ida fighting and everybody else ignoring it. Bakugo would ask Ida if he had a stick up his ass, as Ida would then reply to Bakugo screaming about his profanity, as Izuku would take a few steps in, as Ida would instantly notice the green hair. "And you!" Izuku would be confused. "Me?" As Ida would then walk up to Izuku with a menacing glare. "What did you think you were going to pull at the UA entrance exam?" As Bakugo was a bit confused, Izuku would continue and reply, "Well, you see, I used my quirk." As Ida would then state, "Your weird quirk stopped me from moving, and not only that, you were able to get ahead of us by yourself. Care to explain?" As Izuku would shrug his shoulders. "It's a killer be killed world. It's not my fault my quirk is better than yours." As Bakugo would kind of have a slight grin. That's something he would say. As Ida would then reply with, "And I'm the one to stick up my ass." As Izuku in a playful tone, "Hey, watch your language." As it was the same thing Ida would say to Bakugo. A brown-haired girl would poke Izuku in the shoulder. "Hey, you're the guy who saved me." "Thank you, with that weird power of yours." As Izuku would turn around, slightly blushing a little. "Oh, yeah, you're welcome." As she would then even begin to ask what his quirk is. Since, they kind of were hiding a bit of things from each other. It was really obvious. Izuku would explain, "Oh, yeah, my quirk is," as then he was cut off by their teacher, Mr. Aizawa. "Hey, if you're here to make friends, just leave." As everybody looked at Aizawa, as Aizawa states, "Alright, calm down. Look, I know you guys have orientation, but I don't care about such things. Get on your gym clothes and let's go." Everybody did such and went to the outside training field. As Aizawa would then look at all of them. "This is the people I have to teach? Alright, here's how things are gonna go. It's super simple. Look, if you can't pass this physical course, then you're out. And do I make myself clear?" As Uraraka, flustered, would ask and yell, "Hey, wait, that's not fair. What about the people who got in from the entrance exam?" As Aizawa would state, if you can't handle a simple fitness test where you're allowed to use your own quirk, then you shouldn't be a hero. And also, about fairness. Do you think a random villain attack is fair? A natural disaster? Or how about a hero going rogue? Is that fair? Life isn't fair. As soon as you learn that, the better. Orientation is just for idiots. Izuku Midoriya, step up. Izuku would walk up. "You had, 180 points. Here's one of the physical exams. You're going to be throwing a ball. You'll throw the ball first." He tossed the ball to Izuku, and Izuku would snatch it. Okay, then Aizawa would direct Izuku to a circle. "Now try throwing the ball that way. This thing will mark how far it's thrown." Izuku would simply just grab the ball and point it the direction he wanted to. His palm would erode a black aura, as he would then say, "Push." The black aura, practically on command, pushed the ball at a rapid pace. When the ball eventually hit the ground, Aizawa was shocked, started to smile even as he pointed and he said, 1,200 meters. "Good job, Izuku." Izuku would begin to walk away, but Bakugo would get pissed. "Deku!" As Bakugo would try and use an explosion quirk on him, Izuku would just touch him and his explosion quirk went away. But, lucky for Izuku, he didn't give away his secret part of the quirk yet. Aizawa was also canceling out Bakugo's quirk at the same time, so it could have been Aizawa in anyone else's eyes. as Aizawa would then grab Bakugo bandages and pull him closer. This is not the time to be childish. Do I make myself clear? The physical exams would go roughly the same, but Izuku does not have that much problems with him. Because of his quirk being pushing and pulling, stuff like sit-ups, the wrist thing, pull-up, stuff like that, he can just use his quirk by either pushing or pulling him towards the object or away from it. Eventually, even Izuku got number 1 in the physical fitness, with Mineta getting last. But Aizawa would just smile. It was a trick to deceive you, so you guys can give it your all. Thank you. As he then states that class is actually dismissed for the day, and that they can go back home. And hence they all do. The entire school day goes by, and Izuku begins to walk home as the brown-haired girl, Uraraka, would actually step up to Izuku. Same with Ida. As Izuku would then finally explain his quirk. Oh, yeah, about that. I call it Yami, but officially it's called darkness. Basically, I can push and pull things. I can also morph it into multiple objects. And there's this secret part of my quirk that I really don't want to show you guys yet. But when I do get to show you guys, more specifically a sports festival, it's going to be awesome. As she was still kind of pouty about the fact that he won't fully tell him, but that's supposed to be a surprise, she let it go. Izuku goes back home, eats dinner, goes to sleep, wakes up, you know the drill. He goes to school, and this is the day All Might shows up. Izuku's sitting in class as he actually gets a paper plane in front of him. It's Mina, and she said that if he wanted to hang out after class. He wrote yes and then threw it back. After that, All Might would burst through the door in a heroic sense, as he would then state, "Alright, you..." Ooh. Am I dyslexic? Alright, I'm sorry. As he then said, "Alright, Yue, welcome. This is going to be the battle training section." As he pulled out 2 balls. "Let's go outside." As he smiled in a menacing grin. "Oh, remember, make sure you wear your hero costumes." As he then went outside, and all the students went outside the same. Now, Izuku's hero costume is gonna be a little bit different. Since really it wouldn't affect how it looks, I thought it would be cool if Izuku added a black touch. Instead of it being green, it was black. But the whole ideal of it is genuinely the same. As Omuro to pull out 2 balls. Okay, we have our hero and villain team. The objective for the villains is to stop the heroes when the time runs out. The objective for the heroes is to capture both villains or touch the bomb. Are you ready? As the first pairing was Izuku and Uraraka, and sorry, I have something more. Izuku and Uraraka and Bakugo versus Ida. Bakugo and Ida versus each other. Izuku and Uraraka would stand by. As All Might would give Bakugo and Ida ear pieces. Now I don't want any of you guys doing anything stupid now, as all the class would walk into a certain room that had cameras everywhere. As he would then yell through all mics, "Begin!" throughout the entire building, and Izuku and Uraraka were right outside. Uraraka would ask what they're gonna do, as Izuku would state, "Well, the first thing we do, we need to get inside." Uraraka would float herself up, and Izuku would just push himself up. Once they're in the building, they begin to walk a bit. Izuku states that he kind of wish he had a quirk to scout things out, but this is the most they're going to be able to do. As they begin walking, they begin to hear explosions, and Izuku knows what's coming. Izuku tells Uraraka to wait for a second, as Bakugo would burst through a corner. Bakugo would then try to use his explosion quirk on Izuku, as Izuku would then state, "I didn't want to have to use this so soon, but maybe it's a good test run." As he would then grab Bakugo, and his explosion quirk stopped working. As he would then cover his fist in the black aura, as he would then say, "Black Whiplash." As he would use the suction part of the black aura to suck Bakugo closer. That's not a good sentence, but it's still not to use. Suck Bakugo closer towards Izuku, and then he'd use the pushing part to push him back away. Bakugo get flung pretty much to the other side of the hall, which is pretty much the other side of the building, as he told Uraraka to scout ahead, which she did. Uraraka would question what that was, as Izuku would then state, "It's a secret part of my quirk. I can cancel others out." Uraraka would be kind of frightened by this, but at the same time, she thought it was cool since he was on her side. Bakugo, hearing this, would pretty much ask, "What do you mean, cancel quirks?" As Izuku, walking up to Bakugo, would state, "What else do you think it means, stupid? I can cancel your quirk when you want to use it. I'm not going to tell you how, though." That's the fun part. Bakugo would begin to relentlessly attack Izuku, but Izuku would grab Bakugo's clothing, which would then cancel out Bakugo's quirk, and he'd begin to wail on Bakugo. Every single time he threw a punch, he'd let go and then grab again, punching over and over and over again, repeating this process. Punch, grab, punch, grab, punch, grab, while switching his arms and alternating sides. Eventually got to the point where All Might thought Bakugo was just going to get his ass beat without even using his quirk. Nobody knew what was going on. Eventually, Bakugo figured it out. Every single time Izuku for some reason touched him, that meant that he can cancel Izuku was canceling his quirk. So all he had to do was figure out a way for Izuku to stop touching him. The split second Izuku would let go, Bakugo would use his quirk and explode. But Izuku already had a plan. Izuku will absorb the explosion and then release the explosion almost 2 times the mass, as he would then say, "Black, release." As then, of course, the explosions get thrown back 2 times the speed, velocity, or the mass. It doesn't really matter. But basically, Bakugo gets his ass fucked up. Eventually, Bakugo wants to pull the pin, but realizing what Izuku can do, he really can't. Everybody's amazed at what Izuku's doing. Meanwhile, Uraraka is still trying to find Ida. Eventually, she does, and Ida realizes she's there. Uraraka would tell Izuku that she knows where Ida is, 3rd floor, room closest towards the window where they started. As Izuku would tell Uraraka he'll be right there, as Bakugo got pissed. "What are you trying to say, that I'm weak?" he says. As Izuku would then state, "You're not weak, you're just, well, if I can cancel your quirk, yeah, you're kind of weak." As Bakugo would charge at Izuku full of anger, Izuku would then smile. "That's good. I mean to try this one out." As he would then say, "Black chain," as he would conjure a chain of his black aura and wrap it around Bakugo. As he would then say, "Cancel," this would cancel out Bakugo's quirk. Izuku would then grab the chain and pull the chain towards him, thus pulling Bakugo towards him. And then he would use push to push Bakugo up into the air. He would then pull him, punch him while using push, and using Bakugo as a ping pong paddle. As he did this, he called this the Black Ping Pong Paddle, because his names are kind of, I don't know, I'm just bad at naming attacks, I guess. I don't know what else to call it. But, he's using Black Ping Pong Paddle, and this is going on. And some of the students of you are actually kind of laughing, because, on the outside, this is funny, but Bakugo was getting hurt badly. A gut punch there, a punch to the face here, and Izuku was just not stopping using the same hand. Eventually, he got tired and released the black chain and just used a massive punch into Bakugo's gut, sending him flying. Bakugo would grasp the situation, as Izuku would then clarify. "Look, Bakugo, you're not weak by any means, but with a quirk like mine, where I can just cancel it out, you have nothing without your quirk. Do you understand?" As he would then grab Bakugo and slam his face towards the ground, as he'd whisper in Bakugo's ear, "All the people you hurt because they're quirkless. You thought you were so good. You always hurted me because I was quirkless, or so you thought." He would rub Bakugo's face into the concrete floor. "But don't worry, Bakugo. You know how it feels to be quirkless now, don't you? Not to be able to fight back." As he then grabbed Bakugo's shirt, the collar, basically, and slammed it to a wall. Now you understand. You either say sorry to all those you hurt, or I'm not gonna have to do something that's unheroic. Bakugo would punch Izuku in the face, and Izuku would just take it. Bakugo would step back a few seconds, catching his breath, as he then yelled, "Enough!" As he then grabbed the pin, as he then began to chuckle. "I don't care about all those quirkless losers, and all these extras. Hell, I don't even know why I have to care about you when you're so weak." As he then pulled the pin. This is all the sweat I've been gathering for the past few minutes. Bye-bye. As a giant explosion was sent Izuku's way, as the sudden realization hit Bakugo, he can just absorb it and redistribute. As Izuku would then absorb the entire blast, as he then yelled, "Black reflection." As then, when he absorbed it through the other hand, he released it, and of course, greater mass. As All Might would yell, "Bakugo, Midori, you guys are going too far." Bakugo would use a little bit of his own quirk to try and cancel out, but all he could do was just dodge. A giant hole was seen through the other end of the hallway, brightening it up. Izuku would begin to have a chuckle, but it wasn't his normal one. He'd begin to laugh quietly at first. He would fucking laugh maniacally, but it was weird, because normally when somebody laughs, it's just a ha ha or he he, but no. Izuku was saying Z ha ha ha. When All Might heard this, he began to have a bit of flashbacks, back to a time before he was the #1 hero, before All For One, a bit after All For One, really. Yeah, All For One was All Might's big bad, but there was somebody even worse, somebody even All For One feared. The day All Might and All For One had to team together to stop this monster, and he shared the same laugh. He even shared some similar quirks. His ability was to be able to cancel out quirks and steal them for his own. The drawback is that he had to kill the quirk user first. Multiple heroes died, and eventually he had to go as well. And the worst part is All For One, well, at least All Might could swear All For One stole his quirk, but now he's not sure. He's seeing it back, just a bit different. As Izuku, as he laughed, the black aura was covering him, and a purple energy almost started to emerge. Bakugo saw this. He might be playing the villain, but Izuku's really embracing the role as a villain. Bakugo would pull the pin, as Mina and some other students be asking, who's supposed to be playing the villain here? Izuku seems very villainous right now. As Izuku actually was baiting, a little bit. The laugh was not fake, but his whole transformation kind of was. As Bakugo would pull another pin to try and stop Izuku would absorb it, as he would then state, "Got you," as he would then punch the air, punch upward, so releasing the explosion that way. The explosion would create a shockwave good enough for Ida to loosen his feet, and for what was her name? Yeah, Ochako would be able to grab the bomb. So All Might would yell at the hero team 1. Izuku would just smile. "Zee, I got you, Bakugo." As he began to walk away, Bakugo was trembling in fear though. He was afraid to take another step, and he didn't even hear All Might. So he tried running at Izuku to try and face him one-on-one. He tried throwing a punch at the back of Izuku's head, but he stopped. For some reason, his instincts are telling him not to. But Izuku actually had no idea Bakugo was about to hit him. He turned around and asked if Bakugo's okay, and Bakugo would just be trembling in fear. She would ask, what type of quirk is it? As Izuku would then state, well, it's a emitter type, duh, as he began to walk away. The other battles go exactly the same, and I'm not really gonna dwell on, how they go, but I will add on this. End of the day, All Might wanted to chat with Izuku about his quirk, but Izuku was already planning stuff. You see, him and Mina were actually going to hang out, but in Mina's eyes was more of a hangout, although Izuku was kind of oblivious. They went to go get ice cream and stuff like that. Amina eventually had to yell at Izuku that this was supposed to be a date, but Izuku wouldn't stay. Oh, I mean, if you want to take me on a date, maybe next time we can go get some pie. As Mina would chuckle and say she'd like that, All Might was kind of stalking them, but and not in a weird way. It's not like they're 16, but I'm trying to say. Anyway, after that, Mina goes away, goes on a train, goes home, and Izuku begins to walk home when All Might shows up. Izuku, trying to finish his ice cream, would then say, "Sup, All Might?" All Might would ask what Izuku's quirk is. Izuku didn't state. Oh, it's an emitter type. Oh, do you mean the name? Well, it's darkness. As All Might would ask, "Your father, do you know him?" As Izuku did state, "I know my dad, but he doesn't know how a lot. He has a lot of work. He kind of works overseas sometimes to America, but mostly he stays in Japan, I think." As All Might would ask, "Hey, about grandparents?" As Izuku would ask what All Might's trying to get at here. All Might would just state, "I'm just trying to get closer to my students." And Izuku would then ask, "So, if you really was that, then why didn't you ask earlier?" All Might would ask, "What do you mean? I showed up at the blue." Izuku gave All Might a smirk and a bit of an eyebrow. "I noticed you were following us like 30 minutes ago, All Might. I'm not that stupid." All Might would then almost cough blood as he then stated, "Well, if you're that stupid, then how did you not know it wasn't a date?" As Izuku couldn't catch that, All Might would just state, "Oh, look, I gotta go," as he ran away, practically. And that's gonna be the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I don't want these videos to get too long, but I may have accidentally done it again, so I hope you guys enjoyed. See y'all later.